G'day guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Wildkard. I have to restart this video because my last one I was just yelling and was not gonna be pleasant for you. For the first time in the history of rugby, Argentina has beaten New Zealand in New Zealand. Before they beat New Zealand at home, they managed to beat New Zealand away. First time ever, under the tutelage of Michael Cheika. Yeah, this is truly one of those things where I really felt like Cheika deserved this. He really is a man that has so much passion for the sport. He was treated so unfairly when he was the Wallabies head coach. It was disgraceful, some of the stuff the New Zealand media did to him back in the days. You know what they used to do? Everybody knows. They did it this game, in fact. They did it exactly that this game. Everybody knows he's an emotional guy. He gets animated reactions when decisions on the field don't go his way. And they used to do this in the Bledisloe Cup games. Like, Wallabies would drop the ball or something, and they will quickly cut to him in the coaching box to see him yelling or screaming or throwing his hands up, and then the entire crowd at Eden Park would laugh at him. That's what they used to do to him in New Zealand. Disgraceful stuff to mock this man for his passion for the sport, his passion for the team. They used to mock him live on television. He truly deserved to win this game. And not to mention the amount of neglect, the amount of media negativity towards him when he was the Wallabies head coach was unheard of. He was so unfairly treated. One of the things that was really telling, at first I thought, why is this team struggling? Why were the Wallabies struggling? When he left the Wallabies, he had an interview. He talked about there was absolutely no support from Rugby Australia to him as the head coach. Everybody thought he was just making excuses. Now look at him. Beating New Zealand first time with coaching Argentina. Not to bash Argentinian side, but the New Zealand team had more talent on the field. And this is no way, shape, or form saying that Argentina it's unbelievable how this could happen. But Argentina did it. And you know why? I have a theory. Why New Zealand lost this game. And no, it's not because Fozzie is trash at his job. No, it's not because the scrum coach needs to be fired again. It's because the New Zealand media has created a toxic environment for the team that everybody's too afraid to take a risk anymore. The media, the New Zealand media, just like they did to Michael Cheika, ironically, has bashed the confidence out of their own team. I have never in my whole life, I swear to God, seen the All Blacks fumble, panicking in their own home field. Because they know, every player on the field knows, if they make one tiny mistake, the media's going to murder them the next day. In a toxic environment. If you go home every day and your wife and children just bashes you for every little mistakes, for everything you do, how could you have a good life? How could you perform at your job? How could you be a good father? If you just get constantly bashed about everything, there's no positivity in your life. That's what the All Blacks has to live through. That's what the All Blacks has been living through since last year, losing to Ireland. You did it to yourselves, New Zealand media. And it's a full circle of irony that how this has turned out. They could not have written a better story. How the new toxic New Zealand media has come back and bite them. From mocking Michael, from mocking Checker, to doing it to their own team. You got those clickbait. But hey. Anyway, so yeah, this was, I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do. The All Blacks team, a moment looked absolutely spectacular. Like at the beginning, I literally thought the All Blacks were just gonna run away with the game. That rolling maul, where Takiaho scored there wasn't even a rolling maul. It was just like one of the best mauls I have ever seen from the All Blacks for many years now. I cannot remember last time the All Blacks had a maul this good. It wasn't even a rolling maul. Just shifting the pressure left, shifting it back right, shifting it back left again. Takiaho crashes through. Beautiful maul. Beautifully executed. And then the other try. Argentina overthrows. All Blacks do what they do best. Counter attack. Spreads ball out wide. Just bit of hands between the players. Man, beautiful stuff. Who was it? Who was it that scored? Was it Will Jordan? Oh no, Caleb Clark goes in the corner. Unstoppable. Just look unstoppable. You look like the All Blacks could put 100 points on the Argentinians. You just did that again. Or did them all again. And guess what? The players went into the shells. Did you know Will Jordan was actually playing today? Did you know that? I know. I didn't know he was on the field. Was he on the field? I don't know. Was there? I don't know. I'm pretty sure he was. He's on the player lineup, right? He's on the field, isn't he? Will Jordan. Yeah, he's there. They haven't got a photo of him, but I'm pretty sure he's on the field. Yeah. And then yeah, New Zealand just fell apart. The pressure mounted. You can really tell that the media pressure, real life pressure mounted towards the end. The All Blacks really needed a chance to score tries, to score one try to draw the game. Cody Taylor, he must be the one guy in the world who performs poorly at home, because again and again and again and again, he struggles with his lineouts, even with because this is Orangetheory Stadium in Christchurch, in the beautiful city of Christchurch in New Zealand. Come and visit. I'm pretty sure he has to be the worst performer at home in the world right now, because every time he played at Christchurch, even because he does play for the Crusaders, the amount of lineouts that he misses, it's like astonishingly high. And ironically, that Super Rugby final where the Crusaders won, where he had like almost a perfect performance. No, I think he still had a one mess up. That was at Auckland. Yeah, so this game, once again, he performed really poorly in front of his home crowd. And that last line out, New Zealand 5 meters short, really needed to just get it in, get up more, and he threw it in not straight. And he has through a couple, lost a few lineouts in the second half too. So, I mean, it's clearly just the pressure from the media. I feel like that's really like, for the All Blacks. And again, in the second half, it was like when the pressure started mounting, just giving away too many penalties. Just nobody had discipline to keep the heads together. The maul went from exceptionally good to the Argentinians literally sprinting down the field like the Springboks in the maul. It was just, man. And the All Blacks attack, one-off crash ball. They must have done like 150 crash balls this match. One-off crash ball. Like the Will Jordan didn't touch the ball because the one time they spread the ball out wide, they scored literally, and then the scrummaging was muchly improved with Ethan de Groot and Ethan de Groot and what is his name, Terrell Lomax starting, actually got scrum penalties. So from the set piece point of view, the All Blacks were dominant, and there's no reason for them to lose from that dominant set piece. But there was nothing to follow up. The one-off crash balls was just become so predictable that Argentinians was literally driving the All Blacks back in defense. The defense of Argentina was really, really good. So we'll talk about that in a minute. So literally the All Blacks was going backwards in their attack because the Argentina can just predict where they're going to go, rushing up and then just tackling them behind the advantage line again and again and again. Now, talking about the Argentinian defense, there was some talk in the week as well. Argentina has brought in a new defensive coach, Kidwell, who was a former NRL defense coach, and they literally had talked about the media from New Zealand actually talked about how the plan was to literally rush defense to shut down the ball and then to not overcommit in the breakdown, and that's exactly what Argentina did. They're not overcommitting, rush up defense, and try to pick their moment to turn off the ball. And again and again and again, big players from the four pack, the veterans, the captain Montoya, turn over a couple of balls. Pablo Matera, Creamer, they're all put a huge shift, making those dominant tackles, setting up the opportunity for the turnovers. Quite spectacular work from the Argentina defense. Also, Emiliano Boffelli, his kicking was 100% tonight. Yeah, he's only starting to just give you an idea, right? Sanchez was injured in November last year, so Sanchez was the starting number 10 for Argentina, and he did all the kicking as well for Argentina. He had like pretty high kicking percentage. Sanchez was injured, so 2 new players has to take up 2 new roles. So Boffelli had to take up the kicking role, the goal kicking, and then Carreras had moved from fullback to number 10. Yeah, within just a bit over 6 months, both players are now world class. Like Carreras looked extremely good in the number 10 jersey, managed to get me incredibly well, kicked the ball when he needed to be. The kicking game was good, the attacking was good, handling was good, no errors, defense was good. He got like smashed a few times, but he did make those tackles regardless. And then Emiliano Boffelli, he started off with his kicking. Literally, I still remember when he first took over, was like 70%. He has the boot, he has the distance, he has the technique. 100% tonight. And he has been quite consistently close to 100% leading up to this game as well. So, under the pressure, away from home, that technique and the sound that he pops the ball, just so beautiful. Like, you can tell this guy probably used to be a soccer player. Like, the way he hits the ball, just so nice. Just pops it straight through the middle, again and again and again. From the sideline, 40 mouth, on the angle, wherever you want to be, anywhere inside your 50, he's popping it over. Nice and easy. Yeah. And, the amount of improvements for both players to take over Sanchez's former roles was just spectacular. Spectacular. Hard work. That's the result of hard work. Nothing else. Nothing else to say. And also I've noticed that Argentina has developed, and this is something that I think I've seen it the first time. The first time I saw this was actually with the Bulls against in the semi-final against Leinster. So the Bulls beat the Leinster in a huge upset in the URC in the semi-finals, eliminating the defending champions in the URC essentially. And the way they did it was because Leinster have this, Leinster is basically Ireland. The former, half the Irish international starting the national team plays for Leinster. And what the Bulls did, and Ireland, you've seen the Ireland attack, quick balls, crash balls, and just, quick retention, quick recycle, and trying to get over the advantage line. One of the things that the Bulls did was to, instead of making the tackle and try to slow the ball down at the breakdown and risk getting penalized, what they did was hold the ball carrier up and not try to set up a maul, in that essence, slowing the ball down. So there's no ruck. Try to avoid the ruck to begin with. Try to, not making the tackle to begin with. Slowing down the whole process of going to ground. By doing that, they managed to slow the ball down and then stifling the momentum from the Leinster side. That's the first time I saw this from Jake White from the Bulls in South Africa. And this game is exactly what Argentina did. Argentina took that and went, that's what we're going to do. The 4-pack has again and again and again tried to hold up the ball carrier, not going to the ground, and again and again and again, we'll have to see like the ball carrier try to put the touch, try to, plant their knees, reach their knee down on the ground to get the referee to call for the release. And that really slowed down the All Blacks' attacking options. And as a result, the All Blacks really didn't have much momentum for most of the game. Yeah, so that's something that I've seen the first time from Argentina. And that's something that I've only seen once before from the Bulls by the former Rugby World Cup winner, coached by the former Rugby World Cup winner, Jake White, South African Springbok head coach, former Springbok head coach. So yeah, some genius that's been adapted there by the Argentinian side, and it worked like a charm. And also the Argentina, a huge improvement from the silly penalties as well. Argentina has always known to be the team that gives you a lot of silly penalties. They're obviously very passionate people, passionate about their sport, very pride about their jobs. And then sometimes that pride and passion gets overheated and they give away silly penalties. Much, much better managed Argentina. Yeah. And then, unlike Argentina, the All Blacks, way too many penalties. Just absolutely crumbling under the pressure by their own media. And then, yeah, was big difference. Anyway, let's have a look at the match stats. 2 tries to 1 for the All Blacks. All Blacks scored 2 tries already in the first half. And run meters wise, you can see the All Blacks 420 run meters to 188 for the Argentinians, just 126 carries to 63. The All Blacks were just pummeling the Argentina defense, and Argentina was just patient. They did not give away penalties. They just waited and waited and waited and waited for that moment to get that turnover. There were so many times where the All Blacks were piling pressure. 15, 16, 17 phases later, Argentina still not even giving away the penalty, and then gets the turnover. So impressive. And the run meters at halftime, the All Blacks had 240. Argentina had 82. Turnovers conceded. This is a really difficult stat for the All Blacks to swallow. At halftime, All Blacks only conceded 2 turnovers. Argentina conceded 10 already. Second half, as you can see, the All Blacks conceded 10 overall. Argentina conceded 3 in the first half and 3 in the second half. So the All Blacks turnovers conceded really ballooned, like I just talked about. Argentina was just able to wait for that moment to get that breakdown turnover again and again and again to get themselves out of that mounting pressure from the All Black attack. The tackle count for the All Blacks, 87, 7 missed tackles. Argentina, 195 tackles, only 80 missed tackles. That is absolutely spectacular defense. Like, that's insane. That's less than 5%. That's what, 4%? Less than 4% missed tackles. Insane. Absolutely insane. World-class defense. Just unbelievable stuff. Beautiful to watch. Beautiful rugby. And then kicks in play. Argentina also managed the kicking game a lot better. The All Blacks, when they did the kicking game, it was almost like, well, I guess we have to do it now because if the ball is in our 22, there's no really aim to their kicking. Whereas Argentina has, when they kicked, they made really clear intentions to try to get those 50-22s, to try to kick the ball in a specific area, just inside your 22 or just outside your 22, or try to grab a kick behind. There are very clear intentions with Argentinian kicking, whereas the All Blacks is just very what do you call it? By the books kicks. I guess we're going to clear the boy since he's inside our 22. Let's just do that. Well, we better return this kick. It's, we haven't got anyone to clean us up. Let's just put this one over and see what happens. There was no intent on the All Blacks kicking, whereas Argentina had very clear intentions when they did their kicks. And also the goal kicking from Richie Mwanga, 50%. And Bofeli, 100%. Not much else to say there. The lineouts was just atrocious for the All Blacks, especially in the second half. At halftime, the All Blacks didn't lose any of the lineouts, and Argentina lost 2 already at halftime. So the All Blacks set piece was better in the first half. Second half, Cody Taylor, all 3 lineout losses from Cody Taylor. He was just not coping the pressure at all. Scrums, one scrum tight head win in the second half for the All Blacks. It wasn't really a tight head win, but it was a tight head penalty. Argentina got penalised for boring in. And finally, this is probably the big talking point for the All Blacks. 14 penalties conceded against the All Blacks, so the Argentina's 12, and 1 yellow card due to repeated penalties. And cynically collapsing the ruck. Not ruck, the maul. And Shannon Fritzell gets the yellow card. Is he going to get dropped now? What? Fozzie, you going to drop him now? Is he just going to be out of the team because he made one mistake? We'll see next week. Don't be surprised if Shannon Fritzell doesn't get picked again next week. That's just the way Fozzie does. That's just the way it is in New Zealand. You make one mistake, the media bashes you, and Fozzie is too afraid to pick him again. Let's have a go through some of the recap or some of the highlights, I guess. Also another thing I forgot to mention. The All Blacks was so conservative this game. Every opportunity they had, they opted to kick 3 points. Like, they were so, especially at the beginning of the game, despite the fact that they had clear dominance in the maul, clear dominance in the line-out, clear dominance in the scrummaging, the All Blacks just went, we're just going to kick 3 points. Like, there was so many times I felt the All Blacks should just pressure for tries. This is the mistake that I talked about a lot with the Springboks, and the Springboks is actually shifting away from that as well. Is that they often taking penalties way too quickly without testing the opposition defense. The All Blacks did exactly that this game. Just, it's penalty, let's take the 3. Let's try for 3. Not to mention Rishi Mwanga missed a couple, but just the mentality of not pressuring for that try is really hurting the All Blacks, especially considering the dominance that the All Blacks had in many aspects of the game early in the match as well. So 3 minutes in the game, All Blacks already opting for 3 points after building a really long series of advantages. Argentina was able to hold on with the defense. Rishi Mwanga misses a kick 3 minutes in. Really good defense already starting to show up for Argentina, despite having under penalty advantage. Resisted the temptation to give you another penalty, forcing the All Blacks to take the goal, essentially. 6 minutes into the game, Argentina gets an opportunity to kick 3 points. Similar position from Rishi Mwanga, 42 meters out or so. Sam Kang gets caught offside. Lots of jeering, lots of booing. And the only thing you can hear, crystal clear, is the sound of Boffelli's boot hitting the ball. Crystal clear. Popping sound. And he just goes, you knew as soon as you heard this, you knew this ball was going to go over because it was so clear, so crisp, so good. 3 points to 0 to Argentina. 9 minutes in, there was a no on tackle penalty against Argentina. So All Blacks finally decides to put some pressure on. They go for a 10-meter line out. And this is, like I said, this maul has to be the best maul I've seen from All Blacks for... I can't even remember. Since Fozzie taken over, I've not seen a maul this good from the All Blacks. The maul wiggled. It wasn't even, you can't even call this a rolling maul because he didn't roll. The maul set, basically they wiggled to one, pressured towards the one direction. Argentina scrambles to stop that. And then the maul just pivoted and then turned to another direction. Argentina kind of slowed that down a bit and just pivoted back again. And Takiyaho, leg power, gets the ball, drives through. It was easy as that. And when this more happened, clearly the All Blacks has worked this more. This was so beautiful. And this was 9 minutes into the game. I thought the All Blacks can just do this and blow the Argentina out by 100 points. It was so good. Looked unstoppable, this more. On the 13th minute, there was a scrum penalty against Argentina. Ethan de Groot is the man who earns this penalty for the New Zealand. Again, clearly New Zealand has been working on the scrummaging, the set piece. This scrum was just like a dominant machine, rumbling through, pushing Argentina back. It's starting to make Argentina look like they're a T2 4-pack again. Like, that's just how dominant the New Zealand 4-pack looked, making Argentina going backwards, giving away penalties. And at this point, the All Black lineout was revealed live on TV. Yellow 146. And Jan Shannon Fritzell jumps out at the 6th position, right? So someone can probably break the code. Shannon Frizzell with the 6th jersey jumps at the 6th position, yellow 146. So that's the All Black line-out call. So in case you're interested, on the 16th minute, there was another kickball penalty for Argentina. They decided to go for the line-out to test for the maul. They set up the maul. They get an advantage for offside. The All Blacks actually had a really good maul defense. It was looking like they were going to push the maul out, the Argentina maul out, but Argentina managed to get the ball out, start attacking. All Blacks defense was not disciplined enough to hold this attack. A few phases later, penalty right in front of the goalpost. Argentina gets another 3, 6 points to 5, gets themselves 1 point back ahead. So Argentina again starting to show some of the kicking game at this point. About 20 minutes into the game, I was wondering before the match if they're going to do the kicking game like they did against Australia. They did test it, but it didn't really work. So they kind of like stopped. So they did do the grubber kick behind a couple times around this period and didn't really work out. Jordy Barrett was just too good at defending that, it looks like. So they just stopped, essentially. On the 23rd minute, All Blacks gets another scrum penalty. Yeah, really, really huge. But the All Blacks gets penalized immediately after, basically, for side entry. For side entry in the breakdown. So it started to look like that this was already going to be an issue. All Blacks has already been penalized at this point. A side entry, bit of a high tackle, and just, not really clean in their executions at all. And offside, obviously. On the 27th minute, the All Blacks gets a, what happened here? 27 minutes. Yeah, so 27 minutes, the All Blacks just really started to get this is the first time in the game where the All Blacks started to build consistent phases. 17 phases, and 13 out of the 17 phases, which is 1 pass crash balls. Whilst that was quite effective for this period of attack, Argentina quickly learned to defend this later on in the game. But this was really effective, the All Blacks. It's quick ball, crash ball, quick ball, crash ball, quick ball, 1-0 pass, crash ball. 17 phases later, the All Blacks got really close to Argentina try line. Argentina had no choice. Eventually faltered to a penalty. All Blacks kicks the 3. 8 points to 6. All Blacks gets back in front. On the 31st minute, Argentina is starting to struggle with the lineout a little bit because the All Blacks defensive on the lineout has been putting a lot of pressure on them. So it was literally looking like the Argentina lineout could, again, completely get blown out of the water at this point. The All Blacks pressure one of the Argentine lineout and he gets overthrown. Takiaho scoops it up and then he spreads the ball to Adi Savia. The All Blacks, this one period attack, again, looks so good. I cannot believe they didn't do this any more often throughout the game. Takiaho gets the ball, quickly pops towards Adi Savia. Adi Savia recognizes space out wide, quickly passes the ball to David Havili. David Havili throws the ball to Rico Ioane. Rico Ioane did something that he was meant to do as the outside center. He drew a defender and then created a gap for an inside ball to Jordy Barrett, who crashed inside and went through a little gap. He cut back in, he basically ran an angle back in the field, cuts through a little gap, and then he gets kind of covered by the fullback. Jordy Barrett throws the ball out wide for the space that he created out wide. Caleb Clark, too big, too strong, powers down the sideline, goes in. Suddenly the All Blacks, and then Richie Mo'unga converts this one from the sideline. Suddenly the All Blacks 15 points to 6. And it's looking like the All Blacks could potentially blow the game out of the water because everything is working for the All Blacks at the moment. The lineouts, Argentina are struggling in the defensive. The attack is looking great. Like this one face off counter attack to try. Argentina's kicking game wasn't really working. The scrum, clear dominance for the All Blacks, getting scrum penalties as well. So it was looking like this could be a one-sided game from this point of going forward. But Argentina really showed hard, right from the kickoff from after the try was scored. The man that screwed up the lineout, Julian Montoya, recovers the kick. The kickoff kind of got what is that? What happened here? The kickoff happens. The All Blacks runs out. Montoya gets the turnover at the breakdown. Argentina attempts a 3-point and they get 3 points. Is immediately back on the board, 15 points to 9, and then the Argentina lineout, again, still looking a bit shaky. There was one lineout where it was looking like no one knows where it's going to go. Matera runs in front, and Montea just like quickly decided to throw it at him. Matera just made it like a quick call to change the lineout. So it was, again, looking really, really not that great. But just before halftime, I think it was. Yeah, just before halftime, the Argentina gets the ball. They did a little chip kick behind, I think it was. And basically, Richie Moore tried to run the ball out from his own 40, essentially. Gets tackled on the 40-meter line. Argentina wraps it up. Turns over for a penalty. Yeah, 2 penalties within the last 5 minutes of the game. Argentina kicks this one in. Halftime score, 15 points to 12. And they show footage at halftime where Michael Cheika, I don't know if they're trying to mock him or something. Again, the TV tends to show Michael, again, this game, like I said, they show Michael Cheika every time there was a decision against Argentina just to get, to see his, like, you know, animated reactions, try to mock him like they did in the Bledisloe Cup games. But Michael Cheika had a lot to say at halftime, so Argentina came out in the second half. Yeah, looking like a different team. A lot of things that weren't working. Somehow they managed to hang on to stay only 3 points behind. Second half starts. Basically, again, the All Blacks started off with a penalty that was more than 50 minutes. So Argentina actually started off really good. They piled on a fight of pressure into the All Blacks, but the All Blacks were able to hold on. Adi Xavier gets an important turnover for the All Blacks, defuse the situation. And then the All Blacks gets a penalty like inside their own half. This is like, I thought this is just silly. I honestly thought this was silly. Jordie Barrett, yes, he could kick it, but you literally, you have to apply pressure, test the defense. Even if he can, it's a low chance of him getting this. Even if he does get it, it's not really worth it because you wanted to test the defense. So the All Blacks attempts a 50+ meter goal. Goal kick, and Jordie Barrett misses it a bit. Wasted opportunity, especially if you're under the pressure for the first 5 minutes or so. I don't know what the decision making is going on here. So on the 45 minutes, 45th minute, the All Blacks gets another penalty where a bit hard done by. Sam Cane gets tackled without the ball, but anyway, they kicks for 3. So the All Blacks gets 3 points on the board. First 3 points on the board in the second half, and then immediately from the kickoff, it looks like Emiliano Boffelli somehow gets the ball back to Argentina, and Argentina, what's his name? Martin. Is it? What is his name? Martin? Is it? I don't think. It's, what's his name? Who? What? Who? Martin? I thought it was... Malia, but apparently someone named Martin from... Anyway, Argentina basically gets the ball and immediately scores to try into the corner. This was beautiful. From the kickoff, just determined to strike back after conceding 3 points. Gets the try. And suddenly the scoreboard is 19 points to 8. They kick the conversion as well, 19 points to 18. After the All Blacks decides to kick 2 penalty goals, missing 1, Argentina gets the first try in the second half. 50 minutes into the game, another big scrum for the All Blacks. Gets a penalty. They go for a 5-meter All Blacks lineout. The All Blacks gets penalised for blocking their own lineout. So this is a bit of a technical issue there. The lifter lifts it up, steps in front of the ball carrier to block. That's not allowed. The referee immediately caught this. So a silly mistake allowed Argentina to get out of jail here. On the 56th minute, there was another high ball to Richie Mwanga. Argentina managed to isolate him. Gets another penalty, 42 meters out. Argentina kicks another 3 points. Suddenly the gap is 22 points to 18. On the 58th minute, Argentina gets another turnover at the breakdown. So the All Blacks starting to fall apart slowly here. You can starting to feel it. On the 59th minute, Argentina gives away a silly penalty. So at this point, you're kind of thinking Argentina can actually win this, right? You're thinking if they just manage the game, no give away silly penalties, they could probably win this, and a silly penalty is immediately given away. They basically try to do a clearance kick out of their own scrum. One of the creamer was in front of the kicker and started running a fine in front of the kicker. Free penalty. I think the All Blacks kicks this one. Yeah, the All Blacks kicks 3 points on the 50th minute. 40. I think what happened here? Yeah, no, the All Blacks didn't kick for this. This was kickable right in front of the goalpost. All Blacks finally decides to not kick for this one. All Blacks goes for a 15-meter line-out. They kick the ball off a 15-meter line-out. And the line-out gets overthrown. Pablo Matera scoops it up and kicks it out. And again, at this point, Cody Taylor is on the field. He's starting to show that he's really struggling at home for some reason. He knocks on the ball. Like this line-out, I've been overthrown. He knocks on the ball again. And not to mention the last line-out where... anyway, we'll talk about it in a minute. So, yeah. The Argentina at this point is starting to notice that they're really good at disrupting the New Zealand style of game. So the ability to slow the ball down, the breakdown by holding people up is starting to work. The lineouts, just disrupting it, not really trying to win it. The high balls again, not trying to catch the high ball, but just trying to hit the ball back, disrupting it. So the style that Argentina's play is really starting to pay off in terms of disrupting the All Blacks. On the 63rd minute, it looked like the All Blacks had stolen one of the Argentina line-out, but Whitelock knocks the ball on. On the 64th minute, there was a really weird moment. The Argentina gets the ball. It looked like the obviously they didn't show a replay, they just had a long shot. It looked like the halfback threw the ball forward and he rolled on the ground. The referee said it was fine. It looked like maybe someone had knocked it out of his hand and he rolled forward. But whatever the issue is, the referee said as long as the game played on. A couple phases later, a penalty against the All Blacks. So suddenly, not only that the knock-on wasn't picked up, but the penalty this was a bit of a soft penalty. Pablo Matera was tackled without the ball, but he did milk it as well. He kind of took a dive, he took a dive as well. So probably tried, that was not a really good look for Pablo Matera. He did try to milk it and taking a bit of a dive. But regardless, Argentina gets the penalty and gets away with the forward pass. They kick for 3. Suddenly the scoreboard is 25 points to 18. The All Blacks is 1 try behind. So for the last 15 minutes, the All Blacks are chasing 1 try. And it's not undoable. I mean, the All Blacks has done this before again and again, especially with 15 minutes left. There's plenty of time. Nope. Sam Kang was taken off on the 66th minute for Akira Ioane. And it looked like this was a rash decision by the coaches because it looked like Shannon Frizzell was on his way out. And suddenly they're like, no, it's Sam Kang. And Sam Kang comes off. So really weird how this decision was kind of just mumbled up a bit. And on the 70th minute, there was a 30-meter, there was a 30-meter line out Argentina had a line out inside, in their own half, 30 meters out from their own try line, so inside their own half. And they literally set up a maul, and the maul start running down the field. The All Blacks maul look terrible defense here for some reason. The maul literally starts sprinting down the field, and then eventually the maul gets tackled by the man that was supposed to come off but didn't come off. Don't you regret that now? What's his name? Shannon Frizzell gets yellow carded. This wasn't just because he illegally collapsed the maul, but there was too many repeated penalties against the All Blacks at this point. Argentina, all the commentaries Argentina needs to kick for this. This was 50 meters out. Obviously, this was Kiwi commentary. Argentina decides to go for the corner. Exactly what I thought should have been done. They go for the corner. They set the ball out. They throw the ball in for a maul. It looked like this was a really good maul. I saw that Argentina was going forward. But maybe the pressure got to them. They quickly got the ball out despite the fact that the maul was still going forward. And then they try to spread the ball out wide, a bit too rushed. And the ball gets turned over, gets penalized essentially. The Argentina diving over, sealing off the ruck. So yeah, rush there. So suddenly you're getting a bit tense again. All Blacks might still win this with 10 minutes left. 72 minutes gone. The All Blacks is just trying to tack it inside the Argentina half. And like the Argentina defense starting to show. The All Blacks are literally going backwards. They started around 30 meters out from the Argentina try line. They ended up at halfway. And then eventually there was one too many passes by Sam Wildkard. I think it was someone couldn't catch the ball, drops the ball. 74th minute, the All Blacks really needed a scrum penalty, and they win a tight head scrum penalty. This was huge. Argentina gets penalized for boring in, and on the 75th minute, so this was huge. This is literally what the All Blacks needed to win the game. They kicked the ball out for a line out that was just about 5-6 meters out from the try line. Cody Taylor throws the ball. Argentina looked like they may or may not contest. Not straight. Oh no, sorry, this is not yet. This one, first one, Taylor throws it in. Argentina steals the ball. Yeah, and then they kind of like knocks the ball back, like from their own to their own side. On the 77th minute, the All Blacks pretty much has one last chance. This is almost getting to the one last chance sort of thing. All Blacks start pounding pounding the Argentina defense just outside Argentina 22, and you're just thinking Argentina's going to give away the penalty. Argentina did give away the penalty. So you're thinking Argentina might give away another penalty? No, just 18 phases, no penalties given. Referee goes back to the advantage, one of the longest advantages I've ever seen. But it doesn't matter. The All Blacks kicks the ball out for a 5-meter line out, and this is it, right? This is it. Just get this one in. You try. At least it's going to be a draw. You're not going to lose. The line-out comes in. Not straight. Yeah. Argentina took every minute they could to set up the scrum. And then the ball comes out. Pablo Matera carries it forward. Looked like there could have been a scrum penalty. All Blacks really tried. It was a mess of a scrum. But Pablo Matera scoops the ball up, runs down the sideline, gets tackled, and the clock turns red. What's his name? Cubelli gets the ball out, kicks it out. History has been made. Michael Cheika, redemption. What a time to be alive as a rugby fan. That's all I have to say. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Like, comment, and subscribe. And see you guys a bit later. Cheers.